Welcome to your safety briefing for Sandpoint Watersports chaparrals. They are all the same year. They all have wakeboard towers, and you'll either have a gray, blue, or red chaparral. Starting from the outside of the boat, you're going to have 2 ropes, front and rear. You'll be provided with 2 bumper buoys as well. You'll have a ski tower, as well as any toys that you'd like, or your inflatable. As we're getting on to the back here, we're going to avoid the cleats, step onto the boat. These seats also lift up for easier egress out of the boat. Your fuel on all the chaparrals is on this side, opposite the driver. When fueling the boat on a chaparral, it has a safety lock. You're going to push the button, and it comes open. Insert the hose all the way to the bottom and pump the boat until it indicates full. All of our chaparrals are equipped with swim ladders, which need to be used only when the motor is in neutral and off as well. We don't want the boat even idling. So to use the swim ladder, simply lift this up, cast it into the water, and then when you're done, the important thing to remember is to lift it back up, just like this. It will self-collapse, goes in here, and this will hold it shut. Your safety items on board all of our chaparrals will be stowed in this storage compartment, which is a flag for signaling if you are having a swimmer in the water, or if you're using one of the towables. You will need to have this outside of the boat posted whenever you are going back to pick up a swimmer. And then when the swimmer is back in the boat or you are under power, you are to stow this. Please do not lose these flags. On board of every chaparral boat is a air pump, which plugs into a cigarette charger so that you can inflate your inflatables. We have an oar just in case, a basic first aid kit, and a class 4 throwable. Currently, this boat is equipped, ready to leave the dock. The captain's chair has this cushion in the upright position so that you can see as you're headed out of the marina. I'll go ahead and show you the boat itself. Our insurance requires that you wear this kill cord, and it is designed to protect the boat and the occupants. If the driver gets thrown from the boat, this is clipped to you, and this pulls out and it stops the boat. So, the very first thing that you want to do when entering the boat is go ahead and clip this either to your belt loop or to a life preserver, something secure, before starting the boat. With the kill cord installed on our person, we can now start the boat. The important thing to remember about all boats is the boat will not start if it is not in neutral. Also, if the boat happens to be in reverse, the boat will not start. With the boat in neutral and our safety cord installed, we can now start the boat, which is done right here. And the boat will fire right up, idles very quietly. To drive the boat, no amount of this will get it into forward or reverse. There is a red safety switch underneath here. You lift it up, click the boat forward to go forward, click the boat back to go back. When driving the boat, it is important to have your hand just like this and not holding on to that safety switch, because you want the boat to go into neutral when you're pulling it back. All of these boats do not have a throttle lock, so in order to keep the boat forward, you need to have your hand on the throttle at all times. It's part of boating safety. You need to have one hand on the wheel, one hand on the throttle at all times operating the boat. Before leaving the dock, Sandpoint Watersports will provide you with 2 bumper buoys equipped with existing loops, and they will be stowed inside of the boat. We stow them before you leave because we would like you to bring these back. Each one of these, between the rope, the bumper, and our time, cost $100. And our renters lose about 10 to 15 a year. So please pay attention to them, stow them inside until you're ready to use them. On our chaparrals, all of the boat cleats are retractable, So go ahead and pull a cleat up. You're going to take the end of the existing loop. It goes up through here and then around just like that. And then the bumper buoy will hang where it needs to. On the rear of the chaparral, the loop just goes around this silver and the bumper buoy hangs right here. 99% of the time, unless the boat is completely full, our Sandpoint Watersports employee will just leave that right there. And it's ready for your use when you need to deploy it. When you're coming up to a dock, you just drop it right there. Be very careful as you're entering and exiting this boat, because this is where you will have wakeboards stowed or any other board that you have rented from us. This does have a bungee to belt in the boards, like such. This does swivel inwards, and once you are all aboard the boat, we will normally swivel this inwards so that as you're leaving the dock, you don't scrape it off on something. When you're tying up a boat, we just prefer a half hitch. So you're going to go around, make a loop, and put the loop back in on itself so that it self-tightens. So you notice that the loop is going underneath, just like that, and then it goes around the cleat. So any tugging back or forth on the rope is going to tighten it to the cleat itself. The other safety item that is required on board all vessels and will be included with every rental is your life jackets, which on our chaparrals are stored under this large doghouse here at the rear of the boat. You'll have 3 dry bags, each with 4 life jackets. For the maximum capacity on board this boat, which is 12. Do not have more than 12 people on board. And when it comes time to use the life jacket, it simply goes around your neck. You bring this around and buckle it. This will keep you afloat. This is a Coast Guard required safety item, and it is provided with every single rental. Along with these Coast Guard approved life jackets, which are provided with every boat rental, these are the adult size, so we have infant through 4X available as well at our office for a fitted life jacket. If somebody does not want to use the Coast Guard life jacket, we have fitted life jackets. When you are entering or exiting the marina, you need to be at no wake, which on all of our boats is just out of neutral. And no wake means you are not creating a wake or a splash behind the boat. You need to be going just above idle. And then as you're exiting the marina, you need to be paying attention because there is also a no wake 200 foot from shore or the furthest rigid structure, such as a dock. There is a map of the lake that is stored inside of the boat, and you will have a basic map of the lake as well as a more detailed map of the lake. These maps are generously provided by Idaho Department of Lands, but we're only allowed a minimum number every single year, so please leave these aboard the boat when you leave, because we do go through quite a few of them. The other safety items on board the boat is a fire extinguisher, which is mounted here, just below the captain's chair, and that is a Coast Guard required item. Our phone number is also provided on this sticker that is mounted in a very visible area. If you ever have any problems with the boat, your people that are on board with you, if anything happens to the boat or anybody else, you can always call or text us anytime, day or night. So as we're leaving the marina, just out of neutral and no wake will look like this. As you're leaving the marina at no wake, you need to be mindful of all boating traffic coming in, going out, next to you, behind you, on the water. It's very difficult to gauge speed as a boat is headed directly towards you, so keep that in mind as well. And you'll notice we have now exited the marina, but I'm not immediately going to just push the throttle forward and go. You need to be 200 foot from both the shore and or the furthest dock. So in our case, the dock here, we need to be 200 feet away from, which is nearly the middle of this channel. So I'm still at an idle, just out of neutral, and just enjoying the start to my day. So when you are 200 foot away from shore and you are ready to throttle up, push it smoothly forward, and the bow of the boat will start to raise until the bow comes up on plane. Once the bow is up on plane, you can then adjust your speed. And you'll notice that I have one hand always on the throttle, because if not, it's immediately going to let off. That is part of boating safety. So you are steering with one hand and operating the throttle with the other. Now it's time for our general boating and safety tips and rules. This applies to all of our boats, but we're going to showcase them on our Chaparral. When the boat is under power, which means making forward motion, you cannot be seated outside of the boat for any reason. No dangling the feet in the water. This rule also applies to the stern of the boat. You cannot be seated on top of this cushion at any speed in forward or reverse. All of your occupants must be inside of the boat and not above this. Boats are also unique from cars because boats float. So the general loading of the boat plays into the safety for that vessel. If you have all of your occupants on one side of the boat will lean very severely. So it's important as you're loading the boat to equalize the boat, which we will help you with when you're here at the dock. Part of your safety orientation will be identifying the driver of your boat for the day. And we do allow multiple drivers as long as they have boating experience. They will all need to be available for this safety briefing on this video as well as on the day of your rental. If somebody has not had this safety briefing or the one available on the day of the boat reservation, don't be swapping drivers. When you're out on the water and you've decided that you are ready to start up the boat again and you're ready to leave the dock or the water, wherever you're leaving from, you need to identify and do a head count of all parties on board. So to review, you need to be 200 foot from shore, 200 foot from docks. You also need to be 200 feet away from any of the bridges that are on the lake. When you are ready to go under a bridge at Lake Pend Oreille, you need to be at no wake as you are getting closer to the bridge. And you need to be able to maintain control at no wake as you go underneath the bridge, and then 200 foot beyond, you can power back up. Our biggest tip that Sandpoint Watersports can provide to you is when you are in one of our rented boats, you cannot go to shore for two reasons. One, and the most important rule, is Lake Pend Oreille is all privately owned. So the shoreline, if there is a beach that is available, while it is beautiful, is owned by somebody and you cannot go to shore. The other reason is that when you get closer to shore, leaving the shore can cause damage to the prop if you don't give a big enough push to the bow or if you aren't in deep enough water, which is why we launch all of our boats from Dover Bay Marina from a dock and not from shore.